Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to another lesson in JSS 3 Social Studies. This afternoon, we are going to be looking at harmful traditional practices. Harmful traditional practices. We are going to be looking at the meaning of harmful traditional practices. We are going to be looking at types of harmful traditional practices, consequences of harmful traditional practices, and we are going to look at how we can put an end to harmful traditional practices. Now, it is necessary for us to know the meaning of harmful traditional practices. The term harmful traditional practices is often associated with female genital mutilation and other violent practices which are undertaken as part of customary, traditional, cultural, social, and religious beliefs. Today, we are in a modern society, but in some culture, they still practice some of these harmful traditional practices. You will agree with me that in those days, they kill twins because they see it that they are evil. But some of these practices are still ongoing, and we want to put an end to it. And that's the reason why we are learning it, so that people can know that some of these practices are dangerous, especially female genital mutilation. Now, under the types, you understand what I'm talking about. For example, we have female circumcision. Another name for female genital mutilation is known as female circumcision. This is also known as female genital mutilation, as the name implies. It involves the painful removal of sensitive female genital organs. Just imagine, because of some traditional beliefs, they tend to circumcise the female child, and some of these things are dangerous because the instrument they use in circumcising the first person, without sterilizing it, they still use it on another person. This is actually painful. And to be frank with you, we know that majorly it is male that they normally circumcise. Why are they now circumcising the female child? That to make them not to be wayward in future. These are traditional beliefs, and I think they need to stop because it's a painful experience. We also look at slavery. They will pick people, they will turn them to slave, they will not allow them to have their liberty, their freedom. Also, child marriage, most especially in the northern part of the country. As soon as a girl child start menstruating, they move that girl to the husband house, because one allergy might have pay the dowry, pay for the child, that as soon as the girl starts menstruating, the child will be married to the allergy. All these are barbaric behaviour. All these are traditional practices that are harmful, that needs to be checked. Then we have widowhood. In the eastern part, when a man dies, it is the belief that it is the wife that killed the man, even when the woman is innocent. So they will now barb the woman's hair. They will ask the woman to stay in a room, maybe where they lay the corpse for some days, even to the extent that giving the woman the water they use in bathing the corpse to drink, to prove her innocency. These are barbaric traditional behaviours. Then preference for male child, most especially in the west, in the southwest, they value the male child. But I want to let you know that either male or female, they are gift from God. So we should not place preference on male child alone. and this always cause trouble in the family, whereby the man will now look for another woman, thinking that maybe the other woman will give birth to a male child that will continue with his name or what have you. All these are barbaric traditional behaviours. Then we have violence against women. In some culture, they don't regard women as anything. They beat them, they violate them and make them unhappy. All these are different types of harmful traditional practices. Also, facial tribal marks, they mark people for identification. We are in a modern society, for crying out loud, so why are we still causing pains for individuals? So all these are types of harmful traditional practices that needs to be checked. Now, what are the consequences of harmful traditional practices? The first, it can lead to death. You see, when somebody is undergoing torture and not comfortable, that person may die. Also, it can lead to sexual disorder. When a female is being circumcised, it can affect the sexual ability of the girl. Then spread of HIV/AIDS, because the same instrument used in circumcising the first person, they will still repeat the same without even cleaning or sterilizing it. It can spread HIV/AIDS because you don't know the health status of the first person that you use the instrument on. Then it can cause emotional pains, that individual will always feel pains anytime she remembers the situation. Then it retards development. It does not give room for development. Then it infringe on women's rights. It doesn't allow women to have their rights. So all these are the consequences of harmful traditional practices. How can we prevent it? Preventing harmful traditional practices, number one, there is need for public enlightenment, just the way I'm doing now. I'm educating our learners to get to know about this, so that when they get home, they discuss with their family, with their parents, and with this they can discuss it in the community so that they can put an end to it. Then legislation, that is our government, they should include it in the constitution. They should debate it so that there should be still punishment for whoever that is still going into it. Then we can also bring in non-governmental organizations. So those that are not government, they can as well, especially those human rights, they can come in to assist so that to put an end to all this. Then it should be discussed in our curriculum. So we should allow schools, private schools, public schools, to discuss this so that they can put an end to all these barbaric behaviors that is existing in our society. The media, for example, those that love listening to radio, they should enlighten us, they should encourage us, they should bring up discussions on this harmful traditional practice. Let us know the dangers of it so that they can put an end to it. Then our women should be empowered. We should send our girl child to school. That is saying that when you empower a girl, you are empowering the whole nation. When you train a girl, you are building the nation. So all these are necessary for us to be able to put an end to all these harmful traditional practices. I want to believe that these topics are very necessary for us today, so that we will know what is happening in our traditional society, so that we can think of how to put an end to it for us to be able to make progress. Thank you once again for listening. Watch out for the next lesson. Thank you.